The city had fallen years ago. Broken towers leaned like tired giants, covered in dust and vines. Silence ruled the streets, and no one dared enter the heart of the ruins anymore. But deep beneath the crumbled stone and steel in an old medical chamber, something still breathed. She was there, Dash, alone. Her skin was pale, touched by faint patterns of silver that once glowed with strength. Now they flickered weakly. Her eyes, once sharp and full of fire, stared blankly at the cracked ceiling. Above her, the alien princess, once called a warrior of light, now barely moved. Her body was no longer her own. After the last battle, she had been left behind, with machines and metal inside her that never fully healed. Every breath hurt, every movement took effort. The systems around her still worked. Barely. Old machines monitored her pulse, patched her injuries, and kept her alive. But they couldn't fix what was broken deep inside her. She didn't speak to the machines. She didn't cry. She had stopped waiting for rescue long ago. Then one day, something changed. A low beep echoed from one of the outer sensors. Someone was coming above ground. A small human exploration team walked carefully through the ruins. They were searching for lost tech, old codes, and maybe forgotten secrets. Their leader, a quiet man named Eric, held a worn scanner in his hand. His team followed behind, alert and tense. "Sir, I'm getting something strange," one of them said. Eric didn't answer right away. His eyes were fixed on the scanner. It was showing weak but steady life signs deep below the surface. Not animals. Not plants. Something alive in a place where nothing should be. They followed the signal. They found a sealed path under the ruins, hidden behind fallen stone. Eric cleared the entrance, step by step, until a soft blue light spilled out. From the darkness, the walls inside were smooth, clean, touched for years. They followed the hallway until they reached a chamber, and there she was. She didn't look at them when they entered. Her eyes stayed on the ceiling. The machines around her made soft sounds, warning of weak vitals. The team stared, unsure what they were seeing. But Eric stepped forward slowly. His heart beat faster, and not because of fear. Something about her felt familiar. Her face, her markings, even the way she breathed. He didn't know her name, but something inside whispered that he had seen her before. He placed his hand gently on the side of the pod. Her eyes turned toward him. For the first time in a long while, she focused. Her voice was weak, just a whisper. "You once called me your partner." Eric froze. The others looked at him in confusion, but he didn't hear them. Memories he thought were long gone began to stir. Old missions, distant planets, and a name that had been erased from reports. There had been a mission, a secret one, and an accident. A ship lost. He had been rescued. But someone had not returned with him. Her, double quotes, I don't remember everything, he said softly, kneeling beside her. But I know you. I feel it. She closed her eyes. They left me here. They said I was a danger. Broken. You're not, he said. You're not broken. Her fingers twitched. Metal and nerves working together. Not perfectly, not smoothly, but still trying. You shouldn't have come, she said, but I did. He looked around the chamber. Machines were old, but still running. She had survived all this time alone. How? He felt both awe and guilt. We're getting you out of here, he said, standing. Her hand grabbed his wrist. Weak, trembling but firm. They will come for me if I leave. They'll know. Let them, he said. Her eyes met his again. She studied his face, the lines of time, the scars. You still believe in me? I don't know why they erased. You, he said, but I never forgot the feeling. The feeling that someone stood by my side. A tear rolled down her cheek. Not from pain, but from something else. Something she hadn't felt in years. Hope. Eric turned to his team. We need a stretcher. And prep the med drone. She's priority now. The team obeyed, still confused, but they trusted him. Eric turned back to the princess. Do you have a name? He asked gently. She closed her eyes for a moment, then said, Lyara. He smiled. Lyara, I'm going to get you out of here. She smiled too. Just a little as they prepared to move her, the chamber lights flickered. Something in the system had awakened. Unknown codes moved through the walls, triggered by her vital signs stabilizing. A hidden signal quietly went out, far beyond the ruined city. In deep space, a satellite blinked. It picked up the signal and activated an old, forgotten protocol. The message was clear. Subject Lyra status. Active. Threat level. Unknown. The ones who had buried her in silence would now know she was alive. But Lyra didn't know this. Yet, all she knew was that, for the first time in many years, someone had come. Someone who didn't see her as broken. Someone who once called her a partner, and maybe still did. The stretcher floated beside Eric as he helped Lyra into it. She was light, too light for someone who had once stood tall in royal armor. The machines connected to her flickered nervously, as if unsure how to feel about leaving the chamber after so long. Her body was slow to respond. Every movement came with a slight delay, but her eyes stayed on Eric. They didn't hold fear anymore, just quiet questions. The team moved quickly. No one asked too many things. They all felt the tension in the air. This wasn't just a recovery. Something about this moment felt like the start of something much bigger. Outside, the surface of the ruined city looked unchanged, silent, broken, but far above the clouds, unknown eyes were watching. Satellites once thought deactivated had come alive when Lyra stirred. Data was moving through secret channels, and somewhere, someone had noticed. Back at the human forward base, the medical unit welcomed them. Eric helped place Lyra on a soft bed, while drones scanned her condition. Metal bones, damaged nerves, and fusion implants all showed signs of stress. Still, she had survived with no full maintenance for years. It amazed the tech crew. Half machine, one whispered. She's still alive, Eric said. And she's not a machine. She's a person. Lyra closed her eyes, letting the scanners do their work. Strange, she thought. The last time she was around humans, they feared her. Now this one defended her like a friend. Once the checkup ended, Eric stayed by her side while the others stepped away. The room was quiet except for the soft hum of machines. Do you really not remember me? Lyra asked. Eric sat on the edge of a small bench. I remember pieces. Dreams, maybe. Fragments. A voice in a burning cockpit. A name whispered in the dark. She nodded slowly. We were partners. Your people made an alliance with mine. Not many liked it. But you and I, we trusted each other. What happened? He asked. She stared at the ceiling, her voice soft. We were sent on a peace mission. Something went wrong. A trap, I think. My ship crashed. Your team was rescued. I was left behind. The records were erased. Eric clenched his fists. Why would they do that? Because someone wanted to end the alliance, she said. And they knew splitting us apart would be the first step. He looked at her again. Her skin still had the soft silver glow, even in her weakest state. The patterns on her body weren't scars, they were her natural form, mixed now with human-made metal. Can I ask something? She said, of course. Do you still think of me as your partner? Eric didn't answer at once, and he reached out and gently touched her hand. Yes, he said. I don't need memories to know what I feel. She closed her fingers around his, weak but firm. Her voice trembled slightly. Then I will try to be strong again. As the days passed, Lyra began slow healing. Not just her body, but her mind. Eric brought her books, food, even soft music from Earth. He sat with her, talked with her, told her about the changes in the galaxy. In return, she told him what she remembered. Her people's fall, how the empire crumbled, how she waited, thinking maybe he would come. She never blamed him, but she had lost hope. Now that he was here, she felt something inside waking again. Something powerful. One day, Eric brought her an old data chip. We found this in your chamber, he said. The techs unlocked some files. Lyra took it slowly and connected it to her wrist port. Her eyes widened. Images filled her screen, her and Eric, side by side in flight gear, smiling, laughing, training together. He hadn't imagined it. It had been real. They erased everything, she said, voice shaking. But not this. Not us, Eric said. That night, the base commander called Eric to his office. The commander's face was serious. Do you know what you've done? He asked. I saved her, Eric replied. She's a royal figure from a dead empire. We don't know who might come after her. Or us. I don't care, Eric said. She was our ally. And she was left to die. We can't repeat that mistake. Commander stared at him, then nodded. Keep her close, but be ready. Signals have been picked up. Someone out there knows she's alive. Meanwhile, in her room, Liara stood for the first time without full support. Her legs shook, and her breath was short, but she managed 3 steps. She looked at herself in the mirror. She didn't look like the princess she once was. She was thinner, quieter, stronger. Somehow, when Eric returned, she turned to him with pride in her eyes. I walked. He smiled. I knew you would. They will come, won't they? She asked. He nodded. Yes. She held her head high. Then let them. I am no longer hidden. And far across the stars, a fleet began to move. Silent, dark ships, bearing no flags. Their destination, Earth. The next few days were quiet, but not peaceful. Liara trained every morning, trying to move more, speak longer, and regain her balance. Eric stayed close, watching her steps, catching her when she stumbled. She rarely asked for help, but he was. Always there just in case. The base crew had started to respect her. Some brought her warm tea or shared simple greetings. His artists just nodded as they passed. Even if they didn't understand everything, they could see the effort she gave. It wasn't easy to ignore someone fighting so hard to live again. But while she trained, the signals kept moving through space. Strange energy bursts were recorded on the outer edge of the system. Unknown code patterns showed up on human scanners. Someone out there was searching -- listening, and then they answered on. A quiet evening, the base alarms rang. Identified ships had appeared beyond the moons. No contact, a warning. Just there, silent and waiting. Eric and Liara stood on the balcony of the command center, looking at the hologram of the sky. They're here, she whispered. Who are they? Eric asked. They were once mine, she said. Guards. Enforcers. Of the royal fleet? But those who remained turned into something else after the fall. They serve no crown now, only command. Will they come for you? Yes, she said, her voice calm. They will not let me live. Then we won't let them take you, Eric said without pause. She looked at him, the glow in her eyes steady. You always say things like that, do I? You did before? When we were partners? A base prepared for a possible fight? Defense grids were powered, drones flew overhead. Everyone was on alert. But the enemy ships didn't attack. They stayed at a distance, watching. In the command room, the base leader paced. They're waiting for something. Orders, Liara said. Or fear. They don't want to destroy everything. It's just me, so they won't fire unless they're... Sure you're here, Eric said. Not unless I reveal myself. She nodded. The commander turned to Eric. We can't send her away. They'll follow. We can't hide her forever either. If they want her, we need to know why. Liara stepped forward. Then let me speak to them. What? Eric asked. Let me send a message. If they want their princess, let them hear from her. It's too dangerous, the commander said. But Eric shook his head. Let her try. They're not firing. Maybe they want to listen. So Liara recorded a message. It wasn't long. What? Her voice was calm, but sharp. This is Liara of the Fallen Crown. I live, I remember, and I do not kneel to silence. Come for Meekum, but you will not take me in chains. The message was sent. For hours there was nothing. Then a reply arrived. Unit Liara must be returned. She carries data. Core memory fragments belong to Fleet Command. Surrender within 12 hours, or base will be neutralized. They see you as a machine, Eric said, voice tight. I was part of their system, Liara replied. But I changed. When you called me your partner, you gave me something they never did. Choice. And I'm not letting them take that away from you, Eric said. The commander agreed to prepare evacuation plans just in case, but Liara refused. This place gave me a second chance, she said. I won't run again. That night, Eric sat beside her in the med bay. She was recharging some of her implants. Soft blue light covered the room. Do you ever regret becoming what you are? He asked. She thought for a while. My body hurts sometimes. I lost things I'll never get back. But no, I don't regret it. Why? Because if I hadn't changed, I wouldn't be here, and I wouldn't have found you again. He smiled, but it was faint. I should have looked for you. You were hurt, she said softly. They lied to you. To both of us. He looked down. I think I knew something was wrong. Deep inside, I felt hollow, like someone was missing. In the early morning, the fleet began to move closer. 10 ships, each armed. No more time left. Eric suited up, ready to defend. The base was on high alert. But Liara did something unexpected. She stepped outside, alone, onto the main landing platform. Her body still moved slowly, but her steps were steady to ships, hovered above, engines glowing. A voice boomed from above. Final warning, surrender. Liara raised her hand. You have no power here. I am not your tool. I am not your property. I am Liara, chosen by myself. And if you come, you will meet the will of both human and alien. The silence that followed was long. Then the ships. Powered weapons, but before they could fire, the human base released a signal counter code that Eric and his team had found in the old chip, a royal override command. It hit the lead ship's systems like lightning dot, and suddenly, the ships paused, confused, hesitant. Eric stepped beside her. We found your key, he said. You're more than just a princess. You are the one who could command them. And let me try, she whispered. Liara closed her eyes and spoke in the old language, a voice that echoed with command. Ships trembled. Some backed away. Others shut down their weapons, and in the skies above, the fleet started to break formation. The sky was quiet. The enemy ships floated above the base, confused and still. The command override Liara had spoken reached their systems like a forgotten memory waking up. The signal had been buried deep inside the Royal Fleet's coda code. Only the true heir could activate. Some ships powered down their weapons, others drifted slowly backward, unsure of what to do. They hadn't expected this. It'd come for a broken tool, not a living leader. Eric stood beside Liara, watching the change in the fleet's behavior. He had seen many things in war, but never something like this power, not through weapons, but through will. They're not attacking, one soldier said over the comms. Not yet, the base commander replied. Hold position. Liara took a step forward. Her body ached, but she stayed strong. She raised her voice again, letting it echo through the transmission lines. You serve no master now. Your commanders are gone, your empire's dust. I am still here. I offer you one last chance. Power down. Leave this system. Let me live free. For a moment nothing happened, then one ship slowly turned, then another. The signal was clear. 2 of the 10 ships left formation and jumped away into space. A third followed. The others stayed, silent. A different voice came through next. Deeper, colder. This is Unit Vark. Former commander of Royal Guard. We do not follow broken symbols. We follow strength. If you wish to live, prove you deserve it. They want to fight, Eric said quietly. Then they'll get one, Liara replied. The base scrambled as 3 ships began to descend. The others watched, waiting to see what Liara would do. If she failed now, the rest would attack. It wasn't about the throne, it was about fear and power. Eric ran to the command center with Liara right behind him. Her steps were faster now. Her body, though still damaged, responded better with each hour. Her implants were waking up, reconnecting with systems around her. Can you stop them? Eric asked her. Maybe not alone, she said. But I can link with the base, use their systems, their weapons, guide the fight. You'll risk overloading yourself. She looked at him. Then stand with me. Don't let go. Together, they entered the core control room. Engineers cleared space as Liara stepped into the uplink chair. Wires connected to her spine and arms. Her eyes closed as the base systems responded. Lights flickered. Screens glowed brighter. Her voice echoed through every floor. All units prepare. We will not kneel. The three ships began their attack run. Missiles launched. The base's shields lit up as impacts shook the walls. Counterfire, the commander shouted. But the weapons didn't move. What's wrong? They're waiting, Eric said. Eyes on Liara. Then she opened her mouth. Target acquired. Turning fire. Plasma cannons fired with precision. 2 missiles exploded in midair. One of the attacking ships took a direct hit and spun out of control, crashing into a mountain range far off. She's guiding them like a pilot, Tech whispered. Another ship launched drones, but Liara sent out counter-drones from the bases. Storage vault. They moved with strange speed, turning in perfect timing, destroying the enemy bots one by one. Eric stayed at her side. He saw her hands shaking, her face pale, but her voice remained calm. Stay with me, she whispered. Always. The second ship was damaged now, smoking and off balance. It tried to retreat, but Liara locked onto its engines and fired a focus burst. It exploded in the distance, leaving only one left. The last attacker hesitated. Then Vark's voice returned. Angry, sharp. You have forgotten what you are. You were made for command, not mercy. I was made to protect, she replied. And I will protect. The last ship turned and vanished into hyperspace. The battle was over. Cheers echoed through the base. Soldiers clapped each other's shoulders. Some shouted. Some simply fell to their knees in relief. But Liara didn't rise. Her body was limp in the chair, eyes closed. Sparks flickered around the wires connected to her back. Disconnect her. Now Eric shouted. Engineers rushed over and carefully pulled the plugs. Her body slumped forward, and Eric caught her before she fell. Liara, stay with me, please. Her lips moved slowly. I'm still here. You did it, he said. You saved us, she smiled faintly. You called me your partner again, because you are. The med team rushed in to help, but she waved them off. She didn't want a bed yet, not now. With Eric's help, she stood, legs shaking but holding. The entire base watched her as she took slow steps outside again. She stood on the same landing platform where she had first faced the sky. You still feel weak? Eric asked. No, she whispered. I feel alive. Above them, only stars remained. The rest of the fleet had left. But they both knew this wasn't the end. Others would come. Some would be curious. Some would fear her. And some would want control again. But now, she wasn't alone. Now, they remembered her name. Days passed after the battle. The skies were calm again, but the memory of the attack stayed fresh in everyone's mind. Soldiers returned to their posts, engineers repaired the base systems, and medical teams watched over Liara closely. She had pushed herself too far, yet her spirit remained strong. Every day she walked more. She no longer needed help standing. Her movements were smoother, her voice clearer. The strange glow under her skin had grown stronger to not just light, but energy waking inside her. Eric stayed close, helping her whenever she needed. Sometimes they spoke of the past. Sometimes they sat in silence. He noticed that she smiled more nows, small, quiet smiles, but real. One morning as the sun rose, above the mountains, the base received a new signal. It wasn't from the enemy, but from deep inside the old Alliance archives records that had been locked for decades. This was found by a recon ship while scanning lost data stations, the commander said. We think it's about her. File was old, damaged, but it played. On the screen, Liara stood in full armor next to Eric. Both were younger, smiling, standing in front of a ship. A voice in the background read a mission log. Joint Command Operation. Captain Eric Hayes and Royal. Air Liara of the 10 Stars mission. Unity Peace Protocol. Liara stared at the screen. Her hand touched it gently. This was real, and they erased everything, Eric said. But this survived. Another file opened. This one was darker. It showed hidden orders from a group called Council Prime, warning about a dangerous union between human and alien. The message called their partnership a threat to control and order. They planned it, Eric said, his voice low. They wanted to destroy our bond before it became something bigger. Liara's eyes narrowed. They didn't just leave me behind. They made sure you forgot me, but they failed, he said. She turned to him, her voice steady. If this truth gets out, the galaxy will change. They'll see what was done and what we could have been. The commander leaned forward. We can send it to every Alliance member. Expose the ones who tried to bury this. Do it, Eric said. But Liara paused. Wait, not yet. Everyone looked at her. If we release it now, more enemies will rise. We need more proof, more strength. I want to find the others, those who still remember me, those who vanished. You think some are still alive? Eric asked. I don't know, she said. But I feel it. The commander agreed. A mission would be prepared, a journey across forgotten stations, lost worlds, and silent beacons. But before they left, Liara had one more thing to do. Deep below the base in the old shipyard was a wrecked shuttle. It was small, broken, and burned on one side. But when Liara touched it, it responded. Soft lights flickered, a heartbeat almost. This was our ship, she said quietly. The one we flew together. You remember it? Eric asked. Not fully. But my body does. The systems inside still recognize me. The engineers began repairs. Piece by piece, they brought the ship back to life. It was old, but its core was strong. When Liara linked her energy into the console, it pulsed like new. We'll use this ship, she said. We started in it once. We'll begin again now.
Ow.
A few days later, the ship was ready. Not perfect, but strong enough to fly. Eric and Liara stood at the bay doors, looking at the stars. Are you sure about this? He asked. She nodded. They tried to erase me. But now, I'll make sure they remember. And I'll be with you, he said. She smiled, just like before. Always. As the ship rose into the sky, the base watched. They were no longer just a broken princess and a forgotten soldier. They were something more, something the galaxy would feel again. Their first stop was a silent station near a dead moon. Once, it had been part of the old Alliance network. Now, it floated like a ghost. Inside, they found signs of battle. Burned walls, shattered screens, and old bodies buried under dust. But in one room, hidden deep below, they found a pod. And inside, someone was alive. A woman, Hephalian like Liara. With a damaged arm and strange markings on her face, Liara leaned close. The woman's eyes opened slowly. They flickered with the same silver glow. Liara, she whispered. You remember me? Liara asked. Of course, she said, tears forming. They said you died. Eric watched as Liara reached for her hand and held it tight. Another memory returned. Another piece of her past restored. We're not done yet, Liara said softly. There are more. Eric nodded. And we'll find them. Above them, the stars stretched across the dark sky. Somewhere out there, truth waited, and they were ready to find it. The small ship moved through space like a quiet shadow. Inside, Liara sat near the medical pod where the half-alien woman now rested. Her name was Senna, one of Liara's trusted allies during the old mission. She had been placed in stasis after the attack. The damage was deep, but she was healing. Eric sat in the pilot's chair, his eyes watching the stars ahead. The ship felt different now, like it carried more than people. It carried truth. It carried voices that had been silenced. Next stop is the outer debris ring, he said softly. Old Alliance relay station. Maybe another clue. Liara nodded. Each one we find. Each memory. It brings back more of who I was. You are, he corrected her. You're still that person, just stronger now. She looked at him with a small smile. Do Do you regret coming with me? Never, he said. I lost years of my life without knowing what was missing. Now I know. It was you. They landed near a broken satellite field. The relay station was half buried in floating junk and frozen wires. Still, it gave off a weak signal, just enough to pull them in. They entered carefully. Most of the lights were dead, but a few flickered as Liara passed. Her presence triggered old systems. It was like the station still remembered her, even after all this time. In the lower chamber, they found something unexpected, a sealed data vault. Eric and Liara worked together to unlock it. When the door opened, it revealed a glowing cube. Still active? This looks untouched, Eric said. Liara picked it up. The cube responded to her touch. A hologram appeared. It was a recording an old message from someone wearing a human uniform. The voice was calm, but serious. To whoever finds this message was hidden by order of the Alliance Council. Project Unity was not a failure. It was sabotaged. We had proof. We tried to protect Captain Hayes and Princess Liara, but the Council feared what they stood for. Peace. True unity between species. They erased records, silenced voices, sent enemies to destroy what was left. If you find this, share it. Let the galaxy know what was stolen. Leora's hands trembled slightly. Eric stood frozen beside her. They tried to kill the idea of us, she said. Not just our lives, but our bond. Then we make sure they can't hide it anymore. Eric replied. They returned to the ship and uploaded the message into their system. Liara tapped the console. The signal spread through secure channels, bouncing across old Alliance networks, space beacons, forgotten satellites. Within hours, it reached major worlds. Screens lit up. People across the galaxy watched the recording, and everything changed. Across planets, debates broke out. Protests began. Former Alliance leaders were questioned. Archives were reopened. Truth, long buried, had risen again. But not everyone was pleased. A coded warning came to their ship. You've awakened old ghosts. And they are coming. Who sent this? Eric asked. Someone from the Shadow Council, Liara replied. They were behind the original attack. So they're still alive? Yes, and now they know we are too. They moved quickly. Their ship jumped between stars, avoiding trackers. But it didn't matter. The enemy had already found them. One night as they floated near a gas moon to rest, an enemy warship appeared. Massive, dark, and armed. They're not from the old fleet, Eric said. This is something new. It's a true shadow, Liara said. They hid behind both sides, human and alien. They started the war. A message came through, Princess Liara. Surrender the message cube and your partner, or be destroyed. Liara stepped forward. You fear what we remember? You fear what we represent? But we won't be silent. The ship opened fire, but Liara had prepared. Using parts from the data vault, she and Eric had reworked their ship's systems. She activated the new defense core, powered partly by her own energy. The shield-held dart took the pilot's seat. We can't win a full fight, and we don't fight alone, Liara said. She activated a beacon signal. It reached out far calling. The allies they had gathered, since eyes opened in the med pod. Her voice weak but clear. We are still here, other signals responded. Survivors, old allies, and even former enemies who had seen the truth came to help. Small ships appeared from all sides. They weren't a fleet, but they were united. The enemy ship hesitated. Eric looked at Liara. Ready? With you? She said. Together, they flew into the battle. Dodging fire, guiding others, protecting what mattered most, the truth they carried. Liara's body burned with effort, but she didn't stop. Eric fought beside her, trusting her every command. The battle was short, but fierce. When the enemy ship tried to escape, Liara sent one final signal in override that shut down its engines. It drifted, helpless. They had won. After the fight, the galaxy no longer whispered about Liara and Eric. They spoke their names proudly. People now knew what had been taken, what had returned. In a quiet moment back on the ship, Eric sat beside. Lyara, you're not just a princess, he said, and you're not just a soldier. She replied. He took her hand. We're partners. She nodded. Always. And together they looked at the stars, knowing this time their story would not be erased.